Hello and welcome to Operation Dawi Thunder with the air... Okay, sorry, I have to make fun of CA again. I'm gonna have to do the overdramatic voice sometimes. Hey, welcome to the stream tonight. I think we're just getting some folks joining. If you're watching this afterwards, then I appreciate you. I'm gonna actually switch over to just the game. So yeah, hello. Thanks for being here tonight. I do have my nerd glasses on. You'll have to put up with those, and then my ugly mug being on video, but... Regina wants me to do the voice. Yes, Napoleon Total Warhammer, kinda, that's what we're doing. Alright, here, I'll do the voice a little bit more, okay? Alright, here we go. I'm trying to fight off a sinus thing, so I don't know how long I'll be able to do the voice, but I'll do the best I can with it, alright? In Operation Dawi Thunder, we're going to be using the now famous gun mod... Oh wait, hold on. I'm already off track here. In Operation Dawi Thunder, Grombrindal will have to fight his way through hordes and hordes of greenskins, shooting them, chopping them, stabbing them, otherwise disposing of them in giant heaps. Alright, I don't even know how to narrate this. I haven't come up with anything here, and I don't know if I can do it on the spot. But, so what I wanted to do tonight was something fun, okay? I've always really liked the Grombrindal campaign because Grombrindal is borderline broken in Dwarf campaign. I mean, he is really good. And you get these events, like right now I'm using one called Grimnir's Strength, and it gives plus 10 defense, melee attack, and reload reduction time. So all your units just start to get bonker stats. And so early in the game, usually the big downside for the Dawi is that their units are very tanky, very high leadership, good armor, decent defense and stuff, but they just have no attack. Well, Grombrindal changes all that. Plus, he has all of the upgrades that you can normally give troops. And all of a sudden, you start to get some absolutely absurd... this is 17 turns in, and I've already got 53 melee defense, 47 attack, 50 weapon strength, warriors with great weapons, and those dudes are only 2 bronze chevron, right? It's gonna go way higher, okay? So anyway, as you can see, Operation Dawi Thunder will be packed with action from front to back. The axe units are overpowered, and the missile units will be overpowered. No green screen will survive. Alright, so there we go. So a little more overly dramatic voiceover what we're in store. I also want to kind of give you all some advice. The Dawi campaign is actually pretty difficult now, especially if you turn the difficulty up. So this is a very hard campaign difficulty, normal battle difficulty, legendary chaos invasion, which is my favorite settings to play the campaign on. Those are bar none my favorite settings. Normal battle difficulty is really because the AI doesn't get smarter or better on the harder settings. They just get unfair melee defense buffs, which then just makes you have to rely more on cheese, and it makes it to where it kind of breaks all the balancing in the game. If you're just looking for sheer challenge, you should go for it, and you can play it that way. I choose not to, and so what I've done, though, is that this is going to ensure that we're going to be up against just relentless hordes of greenskins. And with the way the campaign has changed over time, the Silver Road is stuck right between a rock and a hard place. The rock being Mount Gunbad to the north, and the hard place being literally Grimgor's Ardboys to the south. So you have greenskins on every flank. You can see I've already been attacked by the Bloody Spears, and then I've got a big stack here from Grimgor and another one coming. And Grimgor will quickly confederate. He'll just start to confederate every greenskin tribe, and it turns into an absolute insanity. So what I like to do is I like to get Grombrindal. You got to make sure you get plenty of Quarrelers and these Iron Drakes that he starts with. And with these units, you can basically wipe out any greenskin stack they throw at you because you're using Grimnir's Strength. And you really just need some cheap warriors and whatever you can throw together. However, you have to be very aggressive. You have to push to Mount Gunbad or Black Crag. And if you can push both, you should. Sometimes you have to pick one or the other first. You're going to lose settlements along the way, and you're going to have to retake them because you are going to be outnumbered. But typically speaking, when you win some big battles, you can then move on. Speaking of big battles, so let's start this thing off interesting. I am going to just be playing some campaign here in a little while. However, again, this is more the tips section for you all. So again, this was 17 turns in. So I had kind of fought my way through again, be very aggressive, attack, attack, attack. Don't turn down any fight that you think you could possibly win, and you'd be surprised. You can win a lot more than you think. So yeah, you have got to rush against Grimgore and the Bloody Spears, one or the other. You'll have to kind of figure out which one based on how your campaign is going specifically. Let me give you an example here. This was a battle that I called Settle the Groby Grudge. And you can see that we're going to be outnumbered. I think it's near 5-1 in this battle. This is near Black Crag, and I was having to fight against Nashrak and several reinforcing armies. By this point, and something happened that I didn't expect or didn't want. When I loaded into the battle, even though all the reinforcements should have come from in front of me, they did not. So a big army came from behind me, and all of a sudden I had to fight it off. Now, I do have a couple of Mournfang cavalry. It's basically the same infantry, quarrelers, everything you saw previously, but Mournfang cavalry are a huge, huge benefit whenever you're trying to get into Operation Dawi Thunder. And some of you might be wondering why we call it Dawi Thunder. Well, our good friend Snek, who made the Empire Guns mod, made another mod called Dawi Thunder, and it brings a lot of gun units to Dawi. Not quite to the same level that you get with the Empire, and they're not just OP enough that you just go all guns, like we used to in the Empire Guns mod. And I think he changed that mod too, to where it's a little harder to just go straight all guns, even though all the units are still there. So what that means is you're going to be fighting a lot of melees, and you're going to be using quarrelers early. And basically, this battle was being fought while I was spreading out, getting the technology, the resources, and the buildings put together so that we can get the Dawi gun units. You can't get a hold of many of the Dawi gun units until you get like a tier 3 or 4 settlement. So it's not like the Empire Guns mod where we were able to get to some stuff a little earlier. Anyway, I'm crushing the reinforcements behind me, and you can see Iron Drakes from an elevated position or in between a couple of units are very, very brutal. Iron Drakes will absolutely melt greenskin units. There's almost no unit that the greenskins have that won't get wrecked by Iron Drakes, especially trolls. So Iron Drakes are fantastic because a lot of greenskin units are pretty low on armor, and honestly, even if a unit does have armor, Iron Drakes are still going to wreck them. So if we take a look at the stats, we're up against, so far, 3,314 greenskins. We've already dispatched over 1,200 greenskins out of the battle, and we've taken less than 100 losses. So you all might start to understand why we call this Dawi Thunder. I also think it's appropriate that the ogres are here too, because it's helping us get ready for Game 3. Yeah, here we go. So this is how you get Operation Dawi Thunder underway. You're going to fight a lot of battles like this. They're going to be big battles. They're going to be difficult, and you're going to have to win against ever-increasing odds sometimes. I actually thought that I might lose this battle. I wasn't sure exactly how it was going to go, because, like I said, we were outnumbered, I think, about 5-1, almost, not quite. Look, they got some flapper snotling wagons coming at us, these disgusting little snots. So I was able to just beat the reinforcing army that came in behind me in time to turn around. There's Black Orcs here as well, because the garrison from Black Crag is here. I used my Mournfang cavalry to disrupt certain infantry charges, and then I pull them back. Mournfang cavalry have a ton of mass. They do a ton of damage. They hit really hard. And for the Dawi, they're a nice little speed boost that also gives you some mobile pain that you can inflict on people. You can use single entity cheese. Like right here, I've got Grombrindal right in the front, along with a Master Engineer. And basically, the Master Engineer, by the way, can reload the ammunition on missile units up to like 7 or 8 times. So they're going to be a real crucial key here for Operation Dawi Thunder later on. So Master Engineers, you need to make sure you get them early, start leveling them up. Yeah, this was a tough battle. There was Black Orcs and Trolls over here, and I was having a really difficult time getting the Iron Drakes to fire because of this weird terrain. Like I said, we were massively outnumbered, but you can look here at the kills and how it's counting down. I mean, we have just absolutely massacred. I'm just now suffered about 200 losses, but they've lost half of their army, about 1,600 greenskins and 200 Dawi, so that's about, what, an 8-to-1 loss ratio? Yeah, you can see here the Iron Drakes roasting the Trolls. Trolls are particularly weak to Iron Drakes, so they're very good. But yeah, this ends up being quite the battle. See that, I believe this is Nashrak right up here. against Grombrindal, and Grombrindal, at least early on, is gonna beat any greenskin outside of Grimgor head-to-head. However, after you get him enough upgrades, he'll beat Grimgor as well. Like, he can get some silly upgrades and character runes and stuff like that, and he'll be shredding. He'll be hitting like 400 or 500 armor-piercing damage, 700 total damage, magical attacks, like 70-something. You know, it's ridiculous. Like, Grombrindal hits like an absolute truck. But anyway, this was a critical battle. I wanted to show this because this was a big turning point in the war against the Greenskins. This is the battle that basically won Black Crag for me. Had to fight a couple of minor mop-up battles after this, but once I got to Black Crag, I had the resources. Now I had a gem cutter in my home province, and I had a gold mine at Black Crag. And so I'm going to load in and show you where I took it from here. So I'm going to quit this replay, and I'll show you. But anyway, I thought this would be a fun way to start things, to kind of just explain how I got started. Again, you have to be uber aggressive. You need a lot of quarrelers. Quarrelers are going to be your money maker early on in these Dawi campaigns. You can't have too many quarrelers, and honestly, you could probably spam all quarrelers and be okay. However, I do like to have some infantry, and like at least 4 to 5 quarrelers. 6 or 7 is totally fine. Quarrelers can be upgraded a lot, and even when you're not playing as Thorek, who is particularly good with quarrelers, you can still, like, I've got quarrelers who are close to 100 missile damage, even without being Thorek, and so definitely focus on quarrelers. They absolutely melt greenskins, vampires, Skaven, basically any enemy that starts around you. It's absolutely shredded by quarrelers. No one can contend with them. They don't have units that do well against quarrelers. Even the beastmen that pop up are pretty low armor, and so quarrelers are going to be absolutely amazing. Great Tiger Game says Snek's Dawi Thunder is great. Yeah, Snek has made some fantastic mods. I loved his Empire Guns mod. It led to my favorite Empire campaign ever. And I'm going to enjoy this. I actually haven't really even gotten to try most of the units. I was getting it started, and I figured we could stream this for a couple of weeks. Maybe I could just record some episodes if we don't get to stream it, you know, whatever. But I wanted to do, like, I don't know if I'll do a whole campaign, but I at least wanted to stream it and kind of show you all some of the gameplay with it, because it is really good. Okay, so this is 63 turns in. Remember how I mentioned being uber aggressive? You can see 63 turns in. I did own all of the Death Pass. However, Azag the Slaughterer came and raised my settlement, and then these idiots right here, the Barak Var dwarves, they won't join my war with Grimgor because they're cowards. And so whenever he raised it, they just swung over here and stole my settlement real quick, because that's the kind of friends they are. But in any case, yeah, I'm getting very aggressive. And you can see that we've pushed back Grimgor significantly. I've defeated him at Mount Gunbad, so I now have 2 gold mines and a gem cutter. No, sorry, make it 3 gold mines, because I took Castle Drakenhof as well. The vampires will almost always declare war on Zufbar. I always join that war and fight them, and you have to be, again, uber aggressive against the vampires. I came out to fight against Castle Drakenhof with just this army, and this wasn't even this wasn't even the army that I've got with Grombrindal. This is my second lord here, and this isn't my stronger army, and we had to fight down like basically 2 stacks of grave guards and some Vargolfs, some Vargeist, a couple of corpse carts, and again, look how many quarrelers I've stacked on the back of this, and I like to go for the great weapon quarrelers, and here's why. So the dwarf quarrelers have high armor, and the regular ones have a shield. If you felt like you were going to be constantly going back and forth, say for instance with like the wood elves, you would want the standard quarrelers. But whenever you're fighting against the greenskins, the Skaven, the vampires who don't have any missile units, the quarrelers with great weapons are really fantastic, because they've got pretty decent melee stats if you have to throw them in that way. And then on top of that, the quarrelers with great weapons basically retain the exact same missile characteristics, and they have 80 armor. And so you really can't go wrong. Grudge throwers are really good if you're facing a lot of infantry. They're not very good when you end up against a faction, say like the vampires. Cannons would probably be better against the vampires, because they field a decent number of single entities and flyers and other stuff like that. But in any case, what I'm working on towards Operation Dawi Thunder is, while I have fought my way out I've been building the buildings that are going to give me access to the new units. And so let me take you in here and show you where you recruit the new units from and what kind of units they are. And again, if anybody wants to go get this mod for themselves, you can go in the video description, and I have a link to the mod in the video description, so feel free to go click that link. Snek is awesome, so I wanted to make sure and give him credit for this. Mountaineers is one of the first new units you can get. It's basically a light gun unit that has a bonus versus large. As far as how they compare to Thunderers, they're a little bit lower damage than Thunderers, but they have slightly better range, I think. Yeah, 155, so 10 meters more range. And they have a specific bonus versus large in their ammunition. So you can see here that the bonus versus large is 10. So they're going to be most effective against large units. What I'm fighting from the greenskins, not very useful, maybe against the vampires, but the quarrelers at the moment are just better. So that's the first unit you can bring in. Then we have Get Hammer torpedoes. These guys have pretty good range, relatively low ammunition, but again, you can get a master engineer and put more ammunition, but they do a ton of missile damage there at 48. So these guys ought to be pretty interesting. It's not specifically AP, so I'm assuming that these are blob busters, kind of, or just infantry killers that can do it from good distance. We got Iron Thunderers, who are very similar to Thunderers, maybe, again, just a hair less damage, but they have armor-piercing weapon strength and missile strength. They have a lot of armor, and basically, they're like a melee-capable Thunderer unit, right? They're not going to be great in melee, but they're going to be pretty good. We got Sappers here, which can attack walls. Let's show you the Sappers. I'm going to get down here. They've got deploy a bolt thrower ability, so like they can drop down a bolt thrower and become an artillery. They move around pretty quick for a dwarf here. They can deploy an organ gun, or they can deploy a volley gun. It's only one artillery piece, like they don't put down multiples, but it's a really cool unit. They can drop caltrops. They can do all kinds of neat stuff. They have immune to psychology, and they also have wall breaker, so that, as their name suggests, they can help you break through walls in a siege. So a really cool specialist unit that Snek put in there. You got Crank Gunner Engineers, which are basically dwarf rattling guns. So without all the warp nonsense, they even have the suppressed here, which slows people down. It's a lot of damage over really short range, basically about the same range as a Thunderer, but tremendous damage. Low numbers, of course, though, as far as the number of entities in the unit. Then you got Expeditionaries. These guys are going to be kind of like Warplock Jezzails. They've got more range, and they're going to do anti-shield damage and armor-piercing damage at 275 range. So some pretty cool units. We've also got Grudge Solvers here. This is a grenade infantry, so going to be very limited range, but very hard-hitting missile strength here. Looks like they have a King's Wall that they can deploy there too, so we'll have to check that out when we get there. And they cause fire damage. Heavy armor in this unit, very heavy armor, decent melee stats, nothing amazing, but kind of like Dwarf Warriors, maybe even a hair better here than Dwarf Warriors in melee. And then I want to say there was a couple more units. Let's see, we've seen the Iron Thunders, we've seen the Get Hammers. Let's make sure I didn't miss any. I don't think I missed any. There's not a ton of units that Snek put in here. Like I said, it's a little different than the Empire one, so that's why I'm not going to be going all guns. Anyway, hopefully this got you all caught up. And if you have any questions down in the chat, either if you're watching this later or while you're live, let me know. I'm going to turn my fan on real quick. It's getting a little warm in here because of my space heater of a PC. And then we're going to get started trying to get these units unlocked and start using them. All right, Knowledge Spreader's got some tips here. He says, HeirofCarthage, I usually get 5 Grudge Throwers, 5 Quarrelers, Iron Drake, Gyro, 5 Warriors, 1 Thane, 1 Runesmith, and Gromby. Yeah, what you can do, especially too with those single entity, like the Thane and Grombrindal and Runesmith, you can obviously use their abilities, but Dwarves don't have a lot of single entities, but you can take those few that they have, you can put them in front of the army, and create blobs, and the Grudge Throwers and the Iron Drakes and the Quarrelers will just absolutely shred blobs. The AI is really stupid, and so when you do it, it can work extremely well. So I don't disagree with that general idea. You can do this a number of ways. You'll see the way I did it here, but yeah, there's more than one way to kill the greenskins. Looks like I'm doing a little bit of replenishing. I had just taken Waldenhof and Eschen, so I now control the entirety of Eastern Sylvania, trying to cleanse it of vampires, and I needed to take Castle Tempelhof quickly, but the vampires showed up. Dieter von Karstein here with a large army. I don't know the quality of it because I can't see it in its entirety, which stinks because I have an agent right there. But we should expect to come up against a tough battle. So I want a little bit of replenishment. I'm allied with all the dwarf clans that you can see. I'll show you that real quick. You should ally with them as best you can. So you can see here, the only one I'm not allied with is these Graveyards Prospectors. They're a long way off, and they're just not terribly interested. But everybody else that's nearby, you ally with them, and then eventually you'll be able to trade with them, and as soon as you can, make sure you trade, because it drives your income through the roof. I can actually now afford a third army, but for the moment, I'm going to try and not use a third army so that I can build up these buildings and get to our special units quicker. So like right here, the Gunsmith's Forge. I'll go ahead and spend the cash on the Gunsmith's Forge. Anyway, let's see here. Orcs and vampires are number one. Well, you're not going to like this stream then. I do like the orcs and the vampires, though. The vampires are a very dated campaign. They got a lot of content added to them in terms of like different lords. Just, oh my gosh. Boy, this is bad. We got attacked by an absolute doom stack, and I am so beat up right here. Alright, so they got 3 single entities in this top stack, and then they've got Helm and Gorst behind them. If we can kill Gorst, if I don't hit control large army though, we're gonna limit them to just 1 army on their side, and then I think we can handle this. If we have to fight all that at once, I don't think it's gonna turn out well. Let's go ahead and fight here though, but this is another one of those ones where either win or you lose, and if you lose, then you lose. And I don't intend to lose. My people are very beat up from multiple battles with the vampires. Fortunately for me, they got a lot of zombies and skeletons. Those are going to be extremely weak. And then I'm going to use my quarrelers to just absolutely shred the single entity leaders. Take down the leaders for the vampires, and the vampires fall apart real quick. Gonna fall out real quick. Let's see, Knowledge Spreaders also saying Belagar is actually really strong with the Bugman Doom stack, stalking snipe Bugmans that regenerate. Yeah, they can get pretty bonkers as well. They're similar to Quarrelers sometimes in their stats too, except like you said, they can get the regeneration and stuff, which is also really good. I'm gonna take the weakest units and maybe try and keep them in a... Well, I don't really want them in a back line. I'm just gonna have to put them on the front line. We may lose some units here, unfortunately. There's not going to be a whole lot of ways around it. I usually like to keep hammerers towards the flanks with the longbeards with great weapons. We've only got a limited number of troops here, though. And my slayers are going to be necessary. You got to keep some slayers in reserve, because vampires will rush in on your... Well, they don't have any flyers yet, so we should be okay. They'll rush into your skirmishers and basically ruin your skirmish line. I'm still going to keep the slayers in reserve for now, and I'll use them to countercharge the enemy knights that are going to come after us. And we are very low on infantry, so... And I don't have the other single entities in this army yet to kind of goon the enemy with. This is a bit of a risk for me. That's why I don't love this battle. I was worried this kind of thing might happen, and it's exactly what happened. The vampires can recruit whole new stacks very quickly, especially when they have the like a big battle that's been there. It's basically they have a big heap of corpses that they can reanimate. I am gonna really focus fire these crypt horrors early on. But yeah, this battle's gonna be tough. This battle is gonna be tough. You want to put your quarrelers on guard mode. Go ahead and do that, and I'm going to begin firing. Guard mode will keep them from walking forward after they've killed a unit, or just walking, you know, in general where you don't want them to go. Alright, so we shredded up that Cryptor pretty hard. I'm going to get one more shot. We got hit with the Soul Blight. The AI used it early. You're very lucky the AI doesn't know how to use spells, honestly. Like, as a player, you should feel very grateful that the AI is as bad as it is with spells. Otherwise, all of us as players would suffer a lot more at the hands of the AI. Okay. Now I'm gonna start picking off that necromancer back there. Fortunately for me, a lot of the vampire infantry up front is pretty weak. There is a lot of it. Gotta keep my quarrelers with great weapons safe. Like, that is an absolute must. Alright, we got one of the special units. Let's go for the... I'm gonna go for the Vampire of Death now. And then we're going to go for their Lord. But you see how quick Quarrelers are capable of melting. And again, these aren't even the best Quarrelers I have. Not by a long shot. These are pretty noob-type Quarrelers, honestly. Oh, crap. I had my Iron Breakers and I left them out here. Wow. How stupid am I? Very, apparently. Totally forgot I'd gotten the Grombrindal's Iron Breakers. Where do we got the biggest, strongest blob? Probably right here. Bust up some of these Skelly Warriors. Alright, they got a zombie back here. Alright, we just downed the Vampire Lord of Death. I'm gonna go for the Von Karstein Lord now. Once we kill the Von Karstein Lord, the vampires are gonna start suffering a lot. The bad news is they're gonna have reinforcements. The good news is those reinforcements are gonna come on piecemeal. Yeah, that Von Karstein Lord got into some of our Quarrelers, so I'm going to fall back a little bit with some of my Quarrelers, try and drag those units into my Giant Slayers while we continue firing. We don't want to lose any Quarrelers, we're going to need them all. Alright, so turn around, fire at the Von Karstein Lord. He's trying to run out of range, which is honestly pretty smart. But that's one dead Von Karstein Lord. So now the vampires lost all their leadership, and they are going to be in a world of hurt. Should start to see crumbling. I'm going to go ahead and target this corpse cart here. Yeah, we're starting to see disintegrating and crumbling. So that's why you target the vampire leadership. Especially in a case like this where you don't have infantry to spare. You can see my units that were damaged up are still mostly alive. Our limited Quarreler ammunition, because I don't have a Master Engineer in this army, is going to be a risk. Alright, there goes the corpse cart. You should see the vampire infantry pretty much fall apart. I'm going to have to sit on some ammunition for my Quarrelers. And then we've got our rune magic as well. Wrath and Ruin is going to be spinning up. We could go ahead and take this Lord and throw him in here to help break up some of these Graveguard and zombies. The Grombrindal's Iron Breakers are doing really well out here against this Graveguard. Like I said, the leadership is going to be in the tank for the vampires at this point because we killed off. I'm going to scoot up a little bit with my Quarrelers, try and melt Helm and Gorst. Once we get Gorst, the leadership factor is going to be extremely low for the vampires. Like very, very low. We're going to take some losses that I would have rather not taken here, but we'll get recovered from it because we have a large settlement nearby. The vampires, though, are going to be recruiting quickly because there's going to be huge piles of corpses from all these battles, and we should expect the vampires to recover quickly and start assaulting. We may lose a couple of our minor settlements a couple of times, but as long as we can hold the main castle in Sylvania, Drakenhof, we should be fine. We're going to shred Helm and Gorst here. Right, again, see what Quarrelers do to low armor units. And again, these Quarrelers aren't even all that good. Now the vampires are left to fight with absolutely no leadership. And they are not going to be doing well as a result. Alright, so now I'm going to use my leader to kind of goon a little bit. I'm going to put him up in front of the army. We've gotten rid of most of the really dangerous units from the vampires. They don't have any magic to use against me. They don't have any leadership to keep their troops inspired. This Iron Breaker is going to attract the attention of some more Graveguard out here. I'd kind of like to bring it back to me, but I don't want to run away and give this Graveguard free kills. So I'm going to wait, see if we can finish destroying it and then make it back to my battle line. It's dropping, it's just not dropping as quick as I'd like. See, we're going to use our Rune Lord as bait here for the Wrath and Ruin and for the Quarrelers. I'm going to stick them up front. We have some Crypt Horrors running in. We're going to need to slaughter. There's 3 units of Crypt Horrors, so we'll want to hang on to our ammunition. then we'll need some Slayers to deal with that cavalry.
For the ancestors!
And I've got some giant Slayers. I'll swing over to this flank. I'm very low on units right now. And another Grave Guard arrived over here. That's not what I wanted.
Lord of Khan Morgrim! On my way!
Alright, let's go ahead and use our heal potion.
Ready!
And let's go ahead and charge in, and then I'll use the Opal Amulet. We're going to try and start gooning as much out of these vampires as we can.
I will do it!
Basically use our magic to finish these guys up. I'm going to have to shred those Grave Guard with my Quarrelers. I don't want my Iron Breaker stuck out here this whole time. See, we gooned a bunch of damage into those Grave Guard right there. I gotta hurry. I don't have much time for this. Actually, I can't do that. Alright, the Iron Breakers are just gonna be on their own. They're a tough unit. They can probably handle it. Alright, Horrors are gonna have to be a focus number one. This Black Knights will be a bit of a problem, but... yeah, so we're gonna go Cryptors first. Once we kill the Cryptors, that should cut in significantly to the enemy balance of power. I imagine it's favoring them pretty good. Those Iron Breakers are just absolute tanks out there. I'm gonna allow my Rune Lord to kind of tank some of this fight, like I said. Right now, first unit of Horrors is gonna go. Remember that our Quarrelers with great weapons, pretty strong units. Hi.
Hi.
Wave at the camera, bud. Come over here closer. There you go. Wave at the camera. Night, buddy.
Dwarfs, ready access!
What was that? Good job, bud. He's bragging to me about how he was reading books to his mom, so he's pretty excited that he knows how to read now. Alright, we killed the Horrors. We get the next unit of Horrors, and I'm going to target those Black Knights and the stuff that's attacking our Lord. Alright, so all units of Horrors are down. Black Knights. Let's get some Rune Magic. Melee attack boosts. Basically pick up all these units. Alright, so there goes the Black Knights. I'm going to start shredding some Grave Guard. The balance of power is being really kind to the vampires here, unfortunately. Maybe also because I'm running low on ammunition.
Withdraw!
I don't have enough units to protect my flank at the moment.
Warriors!
I'm gonna fall further back up the hill. I give myself a better firing position. In fact, I'm going to take this unit with great weapons and charge in and try and relieve this unit because it still has some ammo left. Like I said, my Quarrelers with great weapons are going to be decent melee combatants. This is the point at which just the sheer number of vampires may get to us. Trying to win this, and I feel like we've done what we should to win it, but power bar can be pretty finicky sometimes. There's zombies on our Rune Lord now, so he should be able to handle quite a few zombies. Alright, we're shredding some Grave Guard there.
For the ancestors! Withdraw!
Good stuff. We are cleaning up some serious numbers of Grave Guards. There are Hammers, the Peak Gate Guard. They are really tanking some kills out right now. There's a Grave Guard over here. I'm gonna go put some effort into that Grave Guard. I'm so glad those are just zombies left. This is about to hurt really bad for the vampires. I think we can turn the tide right here. Yep. That'll do it. That'll do it.
Dawi, attack!
Boom. Dawi Thunder. Dawi Thunder. 800 dwarves against 3,000 undead. And they still couldn't win. They caught me at my weakest point. Couldn't pull it off. Knowledge Fair says, I'm worried CA may never buff runes again. The cooldowns are way too long, and it's not OP, even if the cooldown... Yeah, I agree. There's probably a mod for it, by the way, and if there's not, maybe we can get someone to make us a mod. I agree. The rune cooldowns are obnoxious, and like you said, they're really not even that good. We lost a bunch of units there, though, so we got a lot to recover from here. But we dealt the vampires a horrific blow in that battle. They took some massive damage.
Follow Dawi.
That strike the grudge from the book. I hope so. I will not be joining any more wars at the moment, but nice try, Zepbar. I'm totally mediocre, truly sad example of what a gamer could be. Nah, Marcus, everybody's got to spend some time learning. I'm actually not that great at this game. I make a lot of mistakes, and I don't have the right mindset to do the kind of min-maxing and stuff like that you'll see from, say, for instance, Legend of Total War.
Vengeful Rune Lord.
I just can't do that kind of play very well. We need units, and we need them bad, and we just lost some units that we've had for a long time, and we need to replace them. Slayers are actually pretty good against the vampires, but I don't know if I have access to any right now. I do not. Unfortunately, we do have the Skyhammer and the Scolder Guard, but I don't know that either one of those is going to help me a ton against the vampires, at least at the moment. So what I'm going to do is risk sitting here a couple of turns. I'm going to grab... thinking the vampires don't have missiles, so I'm going to risk some Longbeards with great weapons, and then one standard Longbeard. So I'll have some shielded infantry, but plenty with great weapons because they'll deal better with the... How come it doesn't show them with armor piercing? It doesn't show a lot of these guys with AP attacks. I wonder if that's some kind of skill or something that changed that. I have no idea why it's not showing with AP attacks. Alright, so I'm going to grab these Longbeards. I'm going to see what I can recruit locally. We do have Mountaineers, which would be very good against large targets. And honestly, these guys can fight against skeletons and lighter units just fine too. So I would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 infantry units. That's probably enough. Bolt throwers would be decent against single entities, but not great. Cannons would be pretty good for this army because we could deal out some serious damage over distance to large units. Trollhammer torpedo, or sorry, Iron Drakes would be very good against Cryptors and Vargulfs. All right, let's see here. I'm just trying to think about what I want to do. Let's try the new units, though. We're here for the new units. Let's get some Mountaineers. They'll be our specialist anti-large. Help complement our Quarrelers with great weapons who are more of a hybrid. And then we've got a few better infantry units rolling our way. And then as far as the regiments of renown go, I mean... Oh, I have a runesmith that I need to put into this army. Let's do that real quick. My runesmith was over here at Castle Templehof, working on damaging the walls. But let's bring him back. And then we need a master engineer, but I can't yet get another one because I don't have enough buildings for them. That leaves me at 19 of 20. Means we can recruit one more unit locally. Let's just go ahead and grab one more Mountaineer. Because again, these guys, against the vampires, the Quarrelers with great weapons are going to act as pretty decent hybrid infantry. They can help protect the flank. I need to get a little bit... some Slayers would be good in this army, honestly, but just don't have the ability right now. As far as upgrades go, I make sure and throw all my upgrades into Axe Lord and Tactician. Again, you all may have different ways that you like to go, but essentially this makes your Quarrelers and your standard Dwarf Warriors go a lot farther, like a whole lot farther. Speaking of, I need to look at that real quick. Okay, so it also affects Longbeards, which is good. All right, you have to get Grimnir's heirs if you want to affect Slayers, Hammers, and Ironbreakers. Solid Spider Snakes, let's see. Maybe India just before British invaded would be fresh for Total War. I mean, there's probably a lot of really cool Saga titles they could do. you know, like localized theater saga style
The dwarfs
stuff, kind of like
speak.
Fall of the Samurai was, and other things. Like, I think Total War could do a lot of really neat things with stuff like that, and hopefully they will. The Skyhammer in this army would actually be pretty decent, because I've got some single entities to blob stuff up on. Alright, we're going to try and take Ekrund off of the greenskins down here. Now, this is Gromby's army, and Grombrindal's army is absolutely no joke. Like, and it's going to give us this in the auto-resolve, so there's no reason. Like, when the auto-resolve is going to be this kind to you, just take it. But the auto-resolve is like, it loves Grombrindal's army. I don't know what's going on in his army, but it loves it. Now, I do have some pretty cool unit runes and other stuff here, but like, the auto-resolve has been extremely gracious to Grombrindal over the last little while. Ancient Egypt saga. It'd be cool, like if they had like a period where they were fighting off some enemies that were invading them or something like that. It could be really neat. Oh my gosh, that's a lot of gold. I'm gonna occupy though.
I am the White Dwarf.
So it must be a pretty sizable settlement.
Here.
Oh, we got a ranger thing here. Could swap over to some Bugmans, huh? The Bugmans, do they get? Yeah, they get the liquid fortification. I think they get the same upgrades that Quarrelers do. It would be cool to bring in Bugmans instead of my Quarrelers with great weapons, I think. Though the Quarrelers with great weapons probably hit a little harder, but the healing is really nice. Bronze Age. Appius, I've heard a lot of people who want the Bronze Age. Thanks for joining tonight, by the way. It's good to see you here. Hope you're doing well. Keeping busy. Working a lot. You still making videos on Troy? I am loving Total War Troy right now. I don't get to record the campaign as much as I like to, but I've kept it going. Unfortunately, not a ton of people watching it on my channel. I don't know why Troy doesn't get a lot of love from viewers. It is really a fun Total War game. Like, maybe it was just the way they launched it with the Epic Store and stuff that threw people off, but Troy is an excellent Total War tile, and it is really fun. Like, I find myself enjoying Troy quite a lot. Like, a whole lot more than I did when it was first released, in fact. You should throw in the Thunder Barge DLC in the set. Yeah, I mean, I guess you mean mod. Holy moly, holy. Yeah, I've heard about the Thunder Barge mod. Need to take a look at that. Appy says not many watching on my channel either. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know why that game was like always such a turnoff for viewers, apparently. Because it doesn't get you a lot of views on a channel, but it is, like, it is honestly excellent. Like, in my opinion, Troy is better than Three Kingdoms. Like, hands down, better than Three Kingdoms. And not a lot of people are watching Three Kingdoms on my channel either. So I don't know what it is with those titles. Now, my viewership is lower in general right now. I think that a lot of my viewership peaked around, like, the Warhammer 1 release. And then it was still really high through the early part of Warhammer 2, and that's come down lower. There's more content creators now. The game is farther off from release. So I'm assuming that some of that plays in. But it's like Three Kingdoms and Troy never held a candle to what Warhammer brought to the table when those released. In terms of views, and I guess I can understand it. Maybe the people were just more excited about Warhammer. Maybe there was a huge fan base, like a huge Warhammer fan base that came to Total War and was very active in watching or something. I don't know what the reasoning is, like why those games get so much more attention, essentially. Could be because of the Warhammer 3 anticipation. I mean, I think that Warhammer must have had a huge fan base that it brought to Total War and a viewer base. Because, like I said, my views were very high during Warhammer 1 and then on into the early stage of Warhammer 2. They've dropped off. Like I said, now there's a ton more YouTubers doing what I do, so people have more options. I'm old. I've been on here forever. I don't expect people to watch me forever. And then you also have the fact that the game is, like, dated and aged. And so people lose interest over time in watching the same game. But yeah, I think Warhammer just grabbed a lot of attention. It had a huge fan base. But like I said, I think it's kind of sad that Troy and Three Kingdoms didn't get quite as much love, because Three Kingdoms was pretty good. In my opinion, Troy is good, like just solid good. Warhammer, for me, is the best Total War, but Troy is a really solid entry in the Total War series, in my opinion. Like, it wasn't fantastic at launch, because to me it was just kind of lukewarm with the truth behind the myth, but it wasn't bad, right? It wasn't bad. It was pretty good. But then when they added the whole mythology element to it, for me, it just hit the yep, it's good. Like, this is a solid title. So that's what did it for me, kind of put it up over the top. To make it just a straight up good title, in my opinion, is when they added that mythology stuff. It was just great. Appius says, for sure, but I also don't get a lot of views in general, so no big deal. You know what, Appius, I'm kind of in the same mindset in a way here at the moment. I know my channel is a lot larger because I've been on here for longer, and I've been very lucky to have awesome people come and view the channel. I never expected to even get 100 views on one of my videos, so you all have made this channel successful. I got good people like Appius helping me all the time, too. I don't know why I ever got views, to be honest. But anyway, what I was getting at here is that I'm so glad that I have a day job. Like, sometimes it frustrates me because I can't record as much as I want to. But I love having the day job because I don't have to worry about the views. I don't have to worry about making my videos appealing to the YouTube algorithm. I don't have to keep up with whatever is just the latest and most popular thing. I can just make the videos I want because I'm not here for money. I don't need the income from YouTube. I take the income, obviously, because it comes in from, you know, the ads and stuff, and I'll use it to keep my computer up to date, to buy the games I need, and like other stuff like that. And a lot of times, honestly, if I have anything left over, I'm just saving it to help my family. But in any case, yeah, I mean, I'm not, like, if my money went down by like 50-60% on YouTube right now, it'd still be no big deal. I could just keep making videos. So like just having, like, so it feels so good to not be tied to the up and down nonsense that is YouTube in terms of monetization. So call it what it is, right? It's like a blessing and a curse, right? I'd like the channel to be growing more in terms of views. It isn't. Doesn't matter though, because I've still got a lot of you all here, and I love making this content for you, and I don't need the money. And so I get to keep doing something that I love, and I get to have a good time with you all. Holy crap. Clone Trooper, I did say money, but I was not asking you. Oh my goodness. Clone Trooper, you are far too kind, sir. Thanks for the 2,000 yen. It's about 18 US dollars. Thank you, sir. Did someone say money? Yes, I did. Thanks for supporting tonight. Clone Trooper, if you all don't know, he is the best Clone Trooper and one of the most amazing supporters I've had in all the great years that I've had on YouTube. Thank you, man. I'll make sure to kill many enemies of the Dawi in your honor here. Good. This is going to pull all the vampires into a big single battle here. Alright, this is for you, Clone Trooper. We're going to slay the undead for Clone Trooper. We're going to do it as efficiently and as ruthlessly as the clones would, too. And essentially, we kind of have laser or blaster rifles between our Mountaineers and our Quarrelers. It's going to be pretty close to the same thing. Shadow Knight. Streamlabs isn't letting you gamble fast enough. Tell him off, man. Don't let him do that to you. Hey, speaking of, this looks like fun. The Mountaineers can, makes me think of West Virginia's football team. Alright, here we go. I got my Mountaineers up here. I'm a little protection with the Nordgrimlings. Alright, so getting set up. And I've got reinforcements coming in. Excellent, here we go. My Mountaineers should wreck those Crypt Horrors. I'm gonna focus them down first. I can drop Caltrops as well. I haven't seen these units yet, so I'm excited to see them. Yep, they shredded.
I love what Snek does with the, it's like a summon. It brings in like barricades and caltrops. Some really cool work he's done. I'm gonna start firing at the corpse cart necromancer back here. Should tear it up pretty quick. We don't need the AP on our guys, but the anti-large should stack up nicely. Not very high damage on the Mountaineers, but that anti-large ought to add up, and it looks like they're already being buffed from this army as well. There, the Quarrelers are unseen, so no one else is going to live either. Let's go ahead and kill Dieter von Karstein. And I'm going to try and finish up that. Oh boy, Dieter is getting shellacked. There comes the Norgrimling's Ironbreakers to seal the deal. Take a close look at these wolf skin clad Dawi. Really cool looking unit that Snek did here. Ooh, I think I just saw a zombie head go flying. Headshot. And these are some sweet units. Caltrops routed. Alright, I'm gonna back up. Bring these guys over here. Clone Trooper, thanks for the 500 yen. He says, Jarl is salty of my salt, but I have more than salt, as you can see. Thanks, Clone Trooper, you're very kind. It looks like he's trying to duel you for your 1.5. How many billion salt do you have? I remember awarding you even more. For those of you who don't know, Clone Trooper Wheeler is the first salt billionaire. So he is a billionaire in the make-believe currency on my channel. And if that's important to you, then, like I said, he's like he's the Elon Musk of salt. Are the Mountaineers a mod? I've never seen them. Yep, they are. They're part of Snek's Dawi Thunder mod that we're using, which is where the name of this stream came from. I've got it linked in the description. You can go check it out. Yeah, I definitely highly recommend any mod that Snek makes. You can be assured it's going to be awesome. Now, in this army, I do not yet have a Master Engineer, so I cannot replenish ammunition, unfortunately. I'm going to see if we can get some shots into these Black Knights. We may get blocked by our hammers. Fortunately for us, dwarves are short, and the Vampire Cavalry is tall. Oh yeah, we shredded them. Those Mountaineers are fantastic against cavalry. Let's go ahead and start picking off this dude who's trying to get around our flank here. Yeah, he's gonna eat it too. Alright, so the vampires have numbers, but I don't think it's gonna be good. They got a Strigoi Vampire Lord here. He's gonna melt. In fact, I'm gonna use Rune of Slowness on him. Fall back a little bit here and let that Strigoi get melted by my units. Alright, so we're gonna finish off that Necromancer. Let's look for another large target with our Mountaineers. Later, Strigoi. Yep, Quarrelers will absolutely wreck Necromancers and Strigoi. I have the reinforcements I haven't brought over, by the way. Let's get those. Could have brought those in sooner, but we'll be alright. Now we've got another Strigoi Ghoul King over here. Not for long.
Nothing can stop us.
And we've now got a corpse card in sight for our Mountaineers. Oh my gosh, look what they did to that corpse cart in a single volley. And then look, the Strigoi's already dead. And again, these aren't my good Quarrelers. You all ought to see what the good Quarrelers in Grombrindal's army can do. They've got about 80 missile damage, and like I said, that's not even as good as it can be whenever you're playing as Thorek. Thorek gets even more missile damage. I know the Hex Wraiths are ethereal, but I'm going to give them a little love. My Mountaineers. And then what do we got here? There's another Necromancer. Give that Necromancer some attention. Let's finish off that corpse cart with the Mountaineers. Oh yeah, the Necromancer's gonna go down. Necromancer is going down. Holy crap, man. You all are feeling extra kind tonight. Thank you. Thank you very much, Dementia. Thanks for the 20. It's extremely kind, sir. And thank you again, Clone Trooper. Hope you're enjoying the vampire killing. Dementia says, have you thought about getting into the old world when Game Workshop eventually releases it? It said about 300 years before now, Empire is in 3 pieces, no Imperial wizards, etc. Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to get into the old world. Isn't that how they're going to incorporate models for, like, Cathay and Kislev? I don't know if that's what I heard or if I heard it right, but I was pretty sure that they were going to bring in Cathay and Kislev miniatures, but I heard that they were going to do it as part of this old world thing because, of course, Age of Sigmar had, you know, gone to a different place, basically, in terms of the storyline, which is why we didn't have some of them. But yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, I would be getting into the old world. I've almost finished. I'm extremely close. Protocol donated all that money a long time ago for me to start painting a bunch of different models. I've got some, actually. I'll go grab it and show it to you all and show you what's going on. But yeah, I've got some good stuff. And if I get into the old world, I'll definitely probably do some more like stream, or maybe not streams, maybe, but videos at least, like doing some painting and showing people how to get into the hobby. I'm a total noob when it comes to the modeling hobby, but I like it. Like, it's a ton of fun. Like, I really enjoyed it. Oh my gosh. Oh, man. Clone Trooper. You mad fool. You were too kind, sir, with the 5,000 yen this time. So I think in total that puts him up somewhere around the... Oh my gosh, that's got to be, what, $50 or so he's giving the night? Holy cow. Thank you so much, Clone Trooper. You are too kind. He says, you dare challenge my wallet. I am not challenging your wallet, sir. I just need you to come in here tonight and enjoy some content with me. And I will slay many Dawi enemies in your name tonight. In fact, we're gonna name this. We're gonna name some of these troops after you here. Lazard Lord says you're a noob. The miniature I've seen is really good. I am a noob though. I'm relatively new at it. I think I'm just decent at following instructions, and there's a ton of videos and stuff like that that helped me do a decent job. So I'm definitely not taking any of the credit if you all think that stuff looks good. It's mostly just because I'm fortunate to have had so many instructions to help me know what to do. Immune to psychology. Let's put this on one of our Longbeards that's gonna sit in the middle. And this bonus versus large. Thank you so much, Clone Trooper. Thank you, Dementia. You're both extremely kind. Very much appreciate the support, and thank you everybody else who's here. I appreciate everybody who joins these and helps support. Like, you are all fantastic. I swear to this day, and it's easy to say because it's true, that I have the best audience in YouTube. Like, I don't get like disgusting comments or people arguing and stuff like that. You are fantastic, and like I said, this is all about you. You all have made this. I'm here, I make videos, and then you all make it awesome. So thank you very much. I'm humbled all the time. Hey, in fact, hold on just a second. I'll show you all some of the minis I'm working on. All right, it's tight squeeze to get past the green screen into here, and this isn't going to show up great on the camera, but real quick, let me fix this. I'm gonna make this bigger just so y'all can see. So for just a minute, you can try and ignore my mug. I'm gonna put this stuff up here, but this is one of the what are these called? Is it? I forget what these guys are called, like Vindicators or something like that. So this is one of my favorite ones. It's got like the cool scrolls on the back and then the wings and stuff. So I did a Stormcast Eternal Army for Age of Sigmar just to learn how to paint.
So this is one of the ones that I'm really liking. This one's pretty much finished. I just have to do a base on it. Set that over here, and I'll grab another one. This is my Lord Celestant on on Dracoth. I'm working on the Star Drake variant, but the Dracoth was a lot of fun to paint. Kind of like a Demigryph Knight, honestly. He's just carrying a Warhammer on it. But I really like the Stormcast. It got a cool feel. I like the gold color scheme. There's a lot of blue and gold, red, stuff like that. But anyway, that's the Dracoth, Lord Celestant on Dracoth. And then here I've got the Star Drake. He's not finished. I don't have the wings on it. This model is a work in process, but it has been a months-long labor of love to get here. This one has been a ton of work. It's still going, but you can kind of see I'm working on these scales down the middle of them. And I've got his wings painted. The wings are off over to the other side. They're already painted. I just haven't glued them on. I'm still working on the mouth. I have to do like a little bit of fire effect inside the mouth, and I've still got to paint the horns. But I mean, the armor and stuff's looking pretty good here. This guy, and then the skin, I was pretty happy with the way his skin and scales turned out. You'll see some of those angles there. But yeah, the Star Drake is the one that Protocol specifically wanted me to paint, and pretty excited about this one. He's getting closer, but like I said, I've been working on this one for months. I've probably put because I'm slow, it takes me time, but I've probably put like 40 or 50 hours into working on this one miniature. And it's fun, though. I enjoy it. But, man, it takes a lot of work. And but it's really enjoyable. It's a fun hobby. I'm extremely glad that I took the opportunity to get into it. And that was, again, something that I basically was fortunate enough to have because there was people on the channel who encouraged me and supported. So without the support and encouragement of you all, I would have never tried this, and I would have never ended up having that much fun. So definitely appreciate all of you who encouraged me to get into it, and then appreciate those who were overly kind and donated and all that kind of stuff too. All right, let's slay some vampires. I think Clone Trooper and Dementia hoped that their money would be used for ammunition, garlic-coated ammunition, to take down thousands of vampires, so I'm gonna get to work on that right now. We are gonna be killing vampires by the thousands. I'm gonna get back into my settlement. I defeated Manfred earlier with this army, though, so this army takes a lot less vampiric attrition, which is gonna be really helpful, because we are right in the thick of it right now in terms of vampiric attrition. I'll do some more work on his runes. Yeah, I love painting the miniatures. It's a lot of fun. I think some people are probably naturally better at it than others. There are people like me, though, who I'm not naturally good at it, but I can watch enough videos and follow instructions, and it turns out pretty good. Like, I'm happy with it. I know mine, like, I've looked at a lot of miniatures that make mine look bad. But I'm pretty happy. Like, I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. I'm not sitting here, like, trying to brag, like, oh, look how great I am. Hey, look at my miniature. Tell me how great I am. No. You all don't have to say anything about it looking good. I'm happy with it. Like, if no one told me that it looked good, I could put it on my shelf, and I'm happy with it up there. I'm pretty proud of it. And so, like, that's kind of what mattered to me is, like, in the past when I was younger, I tried to work on models and miniatures, and I was terrible at it, and I never even kept any of them because they were so bad. And so I'm pretty pleased with the way I was able to get the results on these. Like I said, definitely not something that's going to be on Games Workshop's Twitter page or something like that, but at the same time, like, if it's sitting on my shelf, I'm proud of it. Like, I'm pretty proud of it. Alright, here we go. I'm gonna start doing some upgrades for Thunderers, because it probably counts towards these new gun units. And I'm gonna start trying to build up the Western Badlands at the Dragonhorn Mines. I'm trying to replenish, but replenishment is slow in this province because we don't have a lot of growth still with these settlements all torn down, so I'm working on it. And another turn.
John Wallace says, I can't believe he still played Total War Warhammer 2. So broken with the terrible sieges, bad AI, and shocking balancing. The balancing in Warhammer 2 actually feels pretty good to me for the most part, so I'd be curious to know what it is you think is bad. Siege battles have been bad in Total War for a long time. And if you want my honest opinion, they're going to have more features in Warhammer 3. We can see that right now, right? We can see more features coming, but I got a feeling, like, and it's just a personal
You know who I am.
opinion, right? You don't have to agree with it. I think siege battles are still going to be bad in Warhammer 3. And it's because despite whatever quality of life stuff that CA puts into it, and they do, and some of the quality of life stuff they've put into siege battles in recent games is really good. It was a step in the right direction. I think they made good decisions, and they're trying, but until the AI can do a half-decent job of negotiating, like, the battlefield in a siege battle, they're just not going to be great unless maybe you're playing with another player and you just run into some really cool stuff, right? I think that's the only way siege battles are really going to be good, is if you can get them to a point where at least between 2 players they would be fun. And then a head-to-head campaign might be something that you could really enjoy, you know, siege battles in. But I don't see the AI ever being able to be good enough at a complex siege battle now. I'd love to be wrong, and I hope to be wrong. We'll see. What do you all think? Holy crap, Dementia, thanks for another 10 there. Good grief, you all are dumping out the kindness all over my head tonight. Thank you so much. I'll make sure and crank out some extra videos this week on behalf of Clone Trooper and Dementia for their support, so I'll get busy and get you all out some extra content this week. So let's see, Dementia says, kit bashing is my favorite part of the hobby. A friend recently gave me a ton of Stormcast Eternals despite the fact that I play Chaos, so my 40k World Bear army is getting a bunch of extras. That's cool. So I'm assuming kit bashing is where you take some of the parts from one kit and use them on another. I've seen a little bit of that, and I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. It is really cool, and for the people who have the creative ability to do that, that's neat. And see, for me, my brain doesn't work in a really creative fashion. I need instructions. I need a method, you know, I have to follow. So, like, I can make the minis look like they're supposed to on the box for the most part, like close enough, right? You know, in my own little way. But I don't know that I have the creative juices to come up with something like that kit bashing. That is really neat what people do with that. I've seen some cool stuff. The people who own the hobby shop here in town have kit bashed some stuff, and they have it in their case up front. It looks great. Like, it looks absolutely great. The lady who works down there too also did a really fantastic black coach. Like, it looks so good. Like, and then the man who works there, he has an army of chaos, but he did like this really cool purple color on their shields and banners. It's like totally a chaos army and stuff, but it has this really neat kind of royal purple coloring on it. I love it. Like, he did a great job with it. But yeah, I love some of the work that people can do. I wish I had that type of artistic talent, but I'm happy to be where I'm at. Lazard Lord says it's going to be great if they just make 360 maps for multiplayer only. Yeah, I mean, that would be cool too. They're going to have 360-degree maps for minor settlement battles, maybe for the siege battles. I don't think so. I think the siege battles are probably 3-sided now, would be my guess. I don't know for sure. Yeah, I'm really worried about the AI in the siege battles. Hang on, John Wallace replied here too. He says, growth in campaigns way too fast. 80% of units become obsolete by turn 50. Melee and Cav don't work on the higher difficulties. Heroes are OP and also SEMs. Now, I think you do raise a few good points here, John. When you said balance, I didn't understand what you were getting at. Because, like, the way the units balance in the game between the factions is, you know, not bad to me. And hold on, I'll finish my comment to you here in just a second, John. I got to get to Ruined Atlas. Thanks for the 5. He says, Hail, Mighty Sheaf. Sorry for I lost my membership, but I'm back catching up on Hannibal and his conquest, the Peninsula of Snakes. Loving every moment. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it. Thanks, Ruined Atlas. And there'll be more Hannibal action. I'm going to have some more out tomorrow. So if you're caught up, we'll have some new stuff tomorrow. Thank you so much, 5, and all the years of support. Yeah, back to what John was saying here. I think you make some important points there, and the ones that I think, really go out and agree with would be the units. Like, so for instance, with Troy, there are some units that become obsolete as the game goes on, for sure. However, it seems like in Troy, the light units serve a purpose much later into the game. And part of the reasoning is because you have some resources that are a little more scarce, like, say, bronze, for instance. And some of those units require bronze to recruit and bronze to upkeep. And that results in you not being able to as easily field, like, massive armies of elite stacks. Because it eats up a ton of the bronze, and you have to own a pretty significant amount of it on the map before it becomes available. So what I'm getting at is that it kind of forces you to use a more diversified army. And then the way they diversified light infantry from heavy infantry, from light cavalry to heavy cavalry in that game, they actually did a really good job making you have a reason to use certain types of infantry. Like, light infantry is very fast and moves through terrain with less obstruction, like certain types of terrain. Heavy infantry is better at bracing and tends to have more armor and melee, but they're slower. And, you know, like, so there's like these cool drawbacks that they did and benefits with each unit type in Troy. And I feel like that maybe part of what you're getting at there goes to that. So, like, Warhammer would need to find a way to make those units have a reason to be there later in the campaign, so that it's not necessarily just an elite doom stack. Some people probably like having the elite doom stacks. Some people probably don't. I think they should, at the very least, make a setting that creates something that's more like tabletop, right? Where there's kind of like a point system. You can't just stack up nothing but elite units or single entities. I think that would certainly improve the way that that the game plays. But I do, even though I think it would improve it and make it a little more immersive and stuff like that, I still think that they should make that optional. The reason I say that is because some people just want to go to the min-maxing. I don't think it's the most fun all the time to do it. I would love to play with some type of tabletop rule type thing enabled. But you know, I can see where you're coming from on that, and I agree. Like, I think it's boring if the campaign rules out certain types of units and you end up building all the same kind of stacks because, you know, single entities are just easy to cheese. Single entities are going to have wounds in Warhammer 3, which I think will be a big improvement. It'll make them get considerably weaker as they take hit point damage. So I think it'll help them balance in a lot better than they previously did. So I think that'll be a good thing. But I definitely don't disagree in terms of, like, I can see stuff in Troy that they did. It was a big improvement upon what they did in Warhammer, and I'm hoping they'll bring some of that to Warhammer, to be honest. All right. But anyway, yeah, I definitely agree with some of what you're saying there. I think that's a good point. But since not everybody will want to be forced to play a certain way in their campaign, that's why I said I think it should be optional. Not because I don't agree, but I just think they should make it optional because I feel like the campaign should be fairly customizable for the player. Holy crap, look who it is, it's Protocol. He says, thanks for the 20, Protocol. He says, Air, hope you've been doing well. I've been seeing all the cool stuff around Total War Warhammer 3. It looks great. Work has been insane, but glad I could catch you live. Hey, Protocol, stick around for just a second. I gotta show you something. All right, so Protocol was the one who donated so that I could have this. And I want to show him where I'm at on the Star Drake. So if you'll bear with me just a minute, but he was kind enough to donate for me to get this and then donate tonight. So here's the current state of the Star Drake. I'm getting very close, Protocol. I've got his wings painted. I just haven't glued them on yet. And I have the rider painted. Just haven't glued him on yet either. So all I have to do is finish the fiery effect in the mouth, do his horns and claws, and then finish up an orange, like a Troll Slayer orange coat on top of the scales here on the back. And the Star Drake will be finished.
I did take some video footage of the early painting of this, and I'm going to turn it into a video, and then I'll make a little video kind of commenting about the process of painting it. But here you go. I've been working hard on it. I'm trying to make it look really good because how kind you were. This was not cheap, and that was a big help for me. So I've been working really hard to make it look good for you. So hopefully you're excited to see that I am making some progress on it. It's taken me a very long time because I'm relatively new to this hobby, but it has been insanely fun and an awesome learning experience. I'm gonna put him over there next to me, and I'll get back into this. All right, but thank you, Protocol. Thanks for the 20. I'm also excited for Warhammer 3. I'm also very excited for the game. I think that some things may not improve a ton. Like the AI, it'll probably get better. We get marginal improvements to the AI every time we get a new Total War game. It probably won't be, like insane, like flip the game, but there are a lot of new features that are going to be good. There's going to be new factions that are fun. There's quality of life improvements that they've detailed out. There's, new battle types. There's going to just be good stuff. Like I think it's going to definitely be an improvement, obviously, on where we're at, which it should be, right? That's expected. It's expected at a minimum to be an improvement on where we're at. So, yeah, I'm excited about it. Protocol says, looks good. You did an amazing painting that up. Love the little banners on the front and all of the scales. Yeah, it's taken some work, but like I said, I'll get some really good close-up shots. My phone can film in 4K, so I can get some really good close-up shots of it when I'm finished, and I'll make sure and make that video and kind of detail it out, and also that'll kind of be a thanks to you for all the support with that, so you get to see it in the end. Kind of a special video just for you there. But it's been really fun, Protocol. It's been a ton of work. Like, painting the little models was difficult to learn, but painting a big model was like a behemoth of a task because they are totally different. Way more paint, way more details, and then you have to think about like assemblies and sub-assemblies. Like, okay, I probably shouldn't glue this together yet, or I should paint this separate. Like, it really made you think. And I've tried to go slow and do it right because, like, man, I'm not gonna ruin this model. But yeah. Anyway, there we go. What faction are you excited to try in Warhammer 3? I think I'm still most excited for Kislev. But I think Cathay is going to be interesting. I think they're going to play a lot like the Dwarves. I think they're going to, be real defensive, a lot of gunpowder. So I think Cathay is going to be interesting. Honestly, all the factions look good. As far as Chaos factions, so far I'm most excited about Tzeentch. We haven't gotten a really good look into Slaanesh. I think Nurgle is really cool in terms of being unique and different, but it's also disgusting. So I'm not saying I won't ever play Nurgle, but he won't be top of my list. Khorne is probably the most bland one, but if you're just in for a good, head smashing, I think Khorne is going to be a ton of fun in terms of that gameplay goes. But Tzeentch looks really interesting to me in the way that it plays. Very different than anything I've seen so far. Lots of magic, lots of missiles, a little bit squishier, and then you got the barrier and stuff like that. So Tzeentch looks very interesting battle-wise. I'm very curious to see how it goes. It almost feels like maybe they've crossed like the Wood Elves with Chaos in a way, right? It's not either one or the other, but it's kind of like if they had a disgusting love child, then it would be Tzeentch. Demands. They want me to join the wars. We don't need to join the wars. But I'm really excited because all the Chaos factions look good. Like, I'm sure some of the features between them will be fairly copy and paste, right? Like, they'll look pretty similar, like maybe a little bit different colors, textures, slightly different stats, stuff like that. But there does appear to be quite a bit of differentiation in the terms of the gameplay from one Chaos faction to the other, and that is very exciting. That is very exciting. Shadow Knight says, "Who dares limit my gambling addiction?"
Armed and ready.
Yeah, Streamlabs is keeping you from spending your salt. How dare they? Come on, Streamlabs, don't be ruining anybody's fun.
That's funny. Good stuff. And I have so much fun streaming with you all. It is a good time. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you, anybody who's watching this afterwards. And I know if you're watching it afterwards, it might feel a little bit different because there's been a few times where I stopped for a second and sized up the camera to show a few things off. But I mean, that's live streaming. That is what it is. All right. Siege is actually better than Warhammer 2. Most excited for DLC race. Chaos Dwarves. Yeah. I assume we will probably see Chaos Dwarves. I think we'll probably see the Chaos Dwarves come in. I'm trying to think of other factions that we're likely to see, because we know Ogre Kingdoms are there. We know all 4 flavors of Chaos. Kislev, Cathay. So that right there was 8, right? I think we'll see Chaos Dwarves. What else do you all think will show up in this game? It's kind of curious what all you guys will think will show up in Warhammer 3. Like, how many races. I'd love to see Nippon or End come out, but part of the reason why I think it took so long for Warhammer 3 to get announced and to get finished was probably because they had to go to Games Workshop and say, hey, we want to make a faction out of Kislev and Cathay, and they had to, first of all, get their approval on that, and then wait for them to write the lore for it, and, everything else. And so I'm assuming that that was a big reason why you had to wait so long. And if you were to bring on, like, Nippon or End or one of the others, they'd have to go through the same process of filling in the lore, going through the artwork, like coming up with, who the legendary lords are going to be. Like, I mean, that would be insane. And so I know there's other factions that it mentions a lot. Marcus mentions Dogs of War. A lot of people wanted to see that. So, I mean, there's Araby. I know a ton of people would love to see Araby. CA kind of pooped on the Araby idea, but I don't know that they outright said they would never do it. But I know they did kind of crap on it a little bit. In a previous statement, which I don't think they should have done, because you never know what you're going to get. I think Araby would be a really neat faction to add, based on what I've seen of their tabletop models. Sam says Araby would be great, but all their cities are Bretonnian cities. Yeah, they would have to update the map to bring Araby in where they belong. Sorry, I'm a little congested at the moment. Give me just a second. I'm going to mute, get a drink, and stick a cough drop in here. All right, there we go. This is, fortunately for me, this is about as sick as I get usually. Like, it's pretty rare for me to get sick. I guess I'm pretty fortunate in that regard. Yeah, just a little bit of congestion and stuff. Nothing huge. I need the vineyard here. I have to wait for some of this growth to kick in before I can do it.
My anger burns bright.
I'm gonna go ahead and kill Fort Obersteyr.
By the ancestor gods. Armed and ready.
Elakil says, yo, what up, HeirofCarthage? Been watching you since first Shogun 2 campaigns and finally got you while you were streaming. Haven't aged a bit. I said, yeah, I haven't aged a bit since Shogun 2. Certainly not, 11 or 12 years. I don't want to admit it, folks, but this coming January will begin my last year in my 30s. I'm old now. I started YouTube when I was probably like 26, I think. So yeah, it's been quite the journey. It's been quite the journey.
Lord of Clan Morgrim.
That's right, Senshi. The sickness just confirms that I'm actually a Nurgle acolyte.
in disguise. You found me. You found me out. The World Critic and Gamer says, after Warhammer is done, should we go to Lord of the Rings or Age of Sigmar or some other fantasy? You know, CA usually only produces like kind of one major title at a time. Like they may be working on other things, but if you'll notice, they might do some Saga on the side, but typically they're kind of working on one or two major titles at a time. I would assume that one of them, for the most part, is historical, and one of them is going to be fantasy. I think they've got basically all their doors open when it comes to fantasy Total War. I think getting the IP for the Lord of the Rings would be very difficult. I've heard, I don't know if it's true, but I've heard that the Tolkien IP is, they're pretty stingy with it. It could be very fun. I think they could make a really cool game out of it, and that people would love it because it's Lord of the Rings. And I mean, why wouldn't you love Lord of the Rings? It's pretty fantastic.
What?
I think that making their own fantasy genre for CA could be really cool. It'd be very expensive and challenging.
Don't you fret, it's
Because
done.
of, you know, how much work it would take to basically make something
How
up
can I help?
and sell it. Would not be easy. Not be easy. Oh, look, there's Gotrek and Felix. We'll hire them. I'll move over and hire them here soon. But I think they might have to change the type of game a little bit, and maybe not. It kind of just depends, because I'm not crazy into 40k. I've only seen a little bit here and there about it. I think that they could make it really good. Like Creative Assembly made a really good game out of Total War Warhammer. I have no reason to believe that they couldn't make a really excellent 40k game. Would it be exactly like the way that we play Total War right now? Probably not, since there's so much guns and other stuff, but maybe it could. Again, I don't know how tabletop battles play out for 40k. It seems to me like it might be... Like, 40k is an interesting one. It seems like some of the games and battle types on the tabletop, for instance, play out around like kind of small skirmish type settings with like squads, but then at the same time, the 40k universe is ludicrous in scale with massive fleets and armies and all kinds of stuff. You could do some... I could think of a bunch of ideas in my head. I'm not going to get out into them a ton here tonight, but I can think of a bunch of ideas in my head of really cool things you could do with a 40k game. And like, for instance, if you were to kind of combine a homeworld type space battle or a Battlefleet Gothic type space battle with a game that also has Total War style land battles, or heck, I mean, look at what Creative Assembly did with Halo Wars 2, an RTS game, like a base building RTS game. They did a really good job with Halo Wars 2. Like, it was an excellent game. Played really fun, looked great. I mean, it was an excellent game. And so they could go down that road too. You know what I mean? It could be more of a base building type RTS. And I think it would be very successful. So I think Creative Assembly's got a lot of options open to them in terms of, you know, how they could go down the 40k route. Maybe it would work like Total War. Maybe it'd be more like a traditional RTS game. I don't know. But I think that could work. And I think that, honestly, I mean, with what they've done with the Warhammer IP, does anyone think that the Games Workshop would hesitate, you know, to give Creative Assembly another chance to use their IP? I don't think they would. I mean, they've probably made Games Workshop a fortune off of the Total War Warhammer games, and so I don't think Games Workshop would be hesitant to give them the 40k IP at all. Unless they have some kind of other agreements out there with other people who are using it or something. You know what I mean? Otherwise, I don't think they would be afraid to let Creative Assembly take a whack at a 40k game. And I think 40k is obviously extremely popular. It has a huge following. Age of Sigmar maybe does. I mean, just from what I see, and of course this is just anecdotal, doesn't seem like it has as big of a following as 40k, but I could be wrong. So I would say
Age of Sigmar would fit a Total War game
You know who I am.
just
Our
fine.
enemies shall tremble.
But I'm not sure if we'll see it, because I don't know if it has the kind of following and stuff, but who knows? I would say any Games Workshop IP is definitely fair game for Creative Assembly.
I do. It's as good as done. Iron-willed. Someday!
Go retake Waldenhof. Dune Total War. I've only seen the old Dune movie. I haven't read the book, and I haven't seen the new one. It was definitely kind of strange, but it was an interesting fantasy world. Like, it was definitely a fantasy world that someone put a lot of thought into. I don't know how many. I guess you could have the different factions and stuff. Yeah, I mean, it could possibly work. Again, depends on what's in the books. My only context is the old movie, and you know, movies don't always have the same context that like a book does. But that type of universe does have kind of like a cult following, so I could see that being possibly very popular. Fun one could be Total War World War I, possibly maybe the Daimyo conquest from the Demon King era in Japan. That era had a massive war between China and allied Korea against Japan. Yeah, there's a ton of saga things they could do. Like, tons and tons. Let's see here. Dara says, hey, I've been watching for some 7 years, have recently dived back into Total War. Glad you're still around. Appreciate what you do. Well, thank you. Thanks for being here tonight. It says, also watch the new Dune. It's so good. I'm sure I'll check it out at some point. Sam says a Mexican Revolution Total War would be cool. Hey, speaking of Sam, we're going to be playing the new Mexico faction on Age of Empires 3 tomorrow. So, not exactly Total War, but should be fun still. Ain't No Meaning says, I would love a U.S. war between the states, Total War. I think the Civil War could very well end up being a Total War Saga title. It would probably make an interesting one. It'd have to, like, if it was just like North versus South, that might get kind of lame. So maybe if they made it to where you maybe control a state to start off with, and I don't know how they'd make it work, honestly. I don't know how they'd make it work. Maybe it is just North versus South, but yeah, I don't know exactly how they'd pull it in, but it could be interesting. The combat in that time period would fit the genre very well. Line them up and shoot them out. Let's see, Castle Tempelhof needs some defense. Growth there.
Armed and ready.
Right, I need to get my money on the next turn. You all need to help me remember. I need to come in here. Do I have... I'm still a ways from the population surplus. Really get to the really cool gun units. We still can't quite get there, but we're getting close. They could iterate off of Fall of the Samurai. Absolutely. Ain't no meeting. Yeah, the Fall of Samurai would definitely be a good playbook to go for the Civil War. It's roughly the same time. I mean, it's actually the same time period. A lot of the same weapons, even. So, yeah, that would definitely be a good starting point. And Fall of the Samurai was very fun, I might add. It's probably one of the coolest expansions we've ever gotten in a Total War game. I thought Fall of the Samurai was absolutely excellent. And it's so cool how it kind of just sat on top of the original Shogun 2, which was in the Sengoku Jidai, you know, which basically cemented the Shogun into his place, and then the expansion was the end of that. But of course, you had it in like real life, you know. It was the end of that era, and the battle between old and new, and it was so cool how that game pulled it all together and did that. Like, I mean, that was awesome, absolutely awesome. I don't really want to corner camp these guys, so I'm going to deploy a little different here. Actually kind of like putting some of my weaker troops in the middle. That way, when I get hit in the flanks inevitably by like monsters and cavalry, I have my strongest troops there to hold them back. Something like this here. I love how the Mountaineers can shoot in a 360-degree arc, too. That is really cool. So here we go. About set up. I haven't even looked at the time. I've been having fun here. I gotta keep track of the time. Okay, I've still got some time left. Still got some time left to stream. Never enough time. Protocol! Holy crap! Thank you for another 20. Holy cow, man. You guys are pouring it on me tonight. Whatever did to deserve this. Thank you so much. Protocol says, I just showed my BF the vid you cast of me Dawi blasting charges. It was fun seeing how obsessed the community was with Crimson Killers back then. Have you checked out Halo Infinite? Do you plan on playing the campaign? Yeah, that was fun, man. I loved... That was a fun video back then. I'm glad you're still enjoying that one. I do plan on playing the Halo Infinite campaign, and I will play it on the channel. I don't know exactly how I'm going to format it, whether I'll stream it or whether I'll just play it. But yes, I do. The campaign is actually what I'm most excited for right now. I think the multiplayer's fun, but it doesn't really blow me away. And it could just be because they haven't fully released it yet. It doesn't have all its playlist, stuff like that. But like, I kind of just get bored with it right now, honestly. Like, even though the gameplay is good, like the gameplay in it is good, but the customization's all out of whack right now. Like the progression is way too slow. You don't get EXP for performance or anything else like that. So, I mean, I don't know how they could screw that up, because it was fine in Master Chief Collection, and then 343's like, hey, hold my beer, watch me go ruin something that's already built and working, and they did. I'm sure they'll fix it. Like, I'm not worried that they'll fix it, but it's just kind of frustrating, and it takes away some excitement. However, the campaign looks really, really fun. And I'm very much looking forward to the campaign. That kind of partial open world experience that it's going to offer looks really awesome. And I do intend to play it. And I would love to play it. I think they said, though, that co-op campaign wasn't coming till later, which, again, like, 343. Really? Like, come on. Remember when a Halo game used to release and you got the whole game on release? So, anyway, modern gaming. Modern gaming is what it is. So, yes, I am excited. I am going to play it. I don't want to get too much into the negatives, the things that are bothering me about it, because overall, Halo Infinite is really fun. I think it's a good game. I think it has some extremely disappointing sides to it, but I'll do my best to try and ignore those disappointing sides, just so that I can enjoy the fact that it's been 6 years since we've had a new Halo game, and honestly, for the most part, it's very good. Yeah, I will play it. I very much look forward to it. In fact, we might do some like some co-op or something in stream or something sometime. Thanks for the 20 Protocol, and Starman, thank you so much for the 10. Appreciate your support. You're very, very kind. Hey Starman, can you remind me how long you've been watching the channel? We are getting totally outflanked here, boy. We are getting bushwhacked. We're getting kind of bushwhacked here. It's alright. Bring it on, vampy scum. hold on to that and just give some buffs over here. My Mountaineers got attacked because I don't have any units in the back lines to protect me here, so that was a big mistake. I'm going to have to move some of my Mountaineers over here and try and continue to fire from a new position. Alright, let's hit play. We're about to take a bit of a beating here. Hopefully not enough to lose, but I should have fought with my back against the wall. Because now I'm going to pay the price. Like, as I get outflanked, the vampires are going to get what they want out of this engagement. With my back against the wall, they can't win. They just don't have what it takes to kill my units. They'll be too weak, and I can focus fire their key units. We're getting this flank kind of wrapped up. Fortunately for me, the Norgremlings are going to hold out like a boss. They got a lot of SCMs coming from that way. I'm going to try and deal with this Black Knight Cavalry here. If we can get rid of that Black Knight Cavalry here real quick, may be able to slow down the bleed here. Otherwise, I may have to replay this battle and fight it the right way. I should have backed up against the wall. If I lose too many missiles, I'm going to lose control of the battle.
Move now! Move! Thunderers! Bow through!
This flank's getting wrapped up. It's okay. Bring some more infantry to try and hold it. I say it's okay. It may not be okay. I think it'll be okay. Maybe. Maybe kinda, sorta.
Attack the axe! Ready!
I'm gonna mow down these Black Knights. I'm gonna bring in some Longbeards who ought to be able to hold for a very long time against vampires. I lost a Runesmith. I've still got my main one. We've now got a delicious vampire blob right here. Oh, it's out of range though. What just happened? What is going on? It's like glitched out. Okay, there it goes. Oh, get wrecked. Alright, let's take down this Vargeist. See, those Longbeards aren't... They're going to be immune to psychology. They're going to hold out for a very long time. Now I can start picking off key vampire units. I'm going to go after the Vargulfs. Get my other Runesmith back. We're going to start picking off Vargulfs. We're going to see if we can turn this fight. I screwed it up. It's going to cost me. The vampires will be able to re-recruit faster than I can, unfortunately. They're trying to get some units around my flank here. I got to keep these missile units safe if we want to win. I was trying to kill Dieter. And there he goes. He's going to be very dead. Come on, kill him. He keeps changing his trajectory just slightly. Alright, he's gone. That's gonna hurt the vampire will to fight. Keep using Opal Amulet here to keep my lord in the fight. Now let's start killing Vargulfs. However much ammo we have left is gonna play a huge role in whether or not we're gonna win this battle.
Nothing can stop us! For the ancestors! Bring them! Plow through!
Okay. Alright, last Vargulf up.
Attack! Thunderers!
Alright, last Vargulf just got shredded. Now we're going to start targeting Gorst, and then we've got another Necromancer back here. I think we can turn this around. It got really ugly there for a minute, and I definitely could have fought this way smarter. We definitely could have fought this smarter. I should have just corner camped. I decided not to because some people get really irritated when I corner camp, but it's my campaign. And that is the smartest way to fight this if you want to win. And I should have been quicker to react when I was getting outflanked. I didn't need as many units up front as I had. I just needed more units to protect the flank. Like, the vampires were never going to crush through the front of my dwarf line very quick, but they can crash your flank, and your missile units are what get your killing done. And when you allow them to be interrupted, you basically flip the tide there where the vampires can start getting kills on you. So yeah, that's the mistakes we made there, but we will survive. We will beat back the vampires again in a very big way. So they lost 3 armies, but vampires can replace their armies very quickly, depending on their Raise the Dead pool. And with this many fights going on, and if they had other big fights early on, it can be very easy for them to raise their army back up in a turn or two. So we're gonna still be getting a lot of challenge out of these vampires. We only lost 2 units, thank goodness. The vampires lost basically everything. That is really fortunate for us. Thanks for dropping by tonight, Sam. Definitely appreciate you. Man, this is fun. This campaign has been a ton of fun. Like, huge fights. Yeah, just huge fights with the enemy. One after the other. I love big battles in a campaign. Absolutely love it. We can train slayers now, which is good. We could really use some slayers. I lost some heavy infantry in the middle, but Grombrindal turns every infantry into heavy infantry for the most part. And we need some slayers on our flank badly, like very badly. And I have some banners we can put on them that will give them bonus versus large. Be very good at holding that vampire cavalry out of our skirmishers. So I'm gonna go ahead and recruit some slayers. This army is not ideal for what I'm dealing with, but I can make it work, and it's fun. So we'll have a good time with it. Sharpen weapons is really useful. Help you get more melee attack. Dwarves have low weapon damage, and so anything you can do to improve weapon damage, I typically find it to be well worth it. Looks like we're getting raided big time by Grimgor over here. Termentia, you are absolutely insane tonight. Thank you for the 10. He says, do you think CA will restrict which races can and cannot hire ogre mercenaries? Huh.
I'm here now.
Good question. I don't know. I'm trying to think about that for a minute. I don't know the lore well enough to be able to say, like, oh, well, so-and-so faction wouldn't have been able to recruit them. If there is lore around it, they should probably make it lore accurate. The AI does recruit a ton of ogre mercenaries, and sometimes it gets annoying. Sometimes it's kind of fun. I don't know, what do you all think? Do you think they should restrict who can hire ogre mercenaries? Like, for instance, in lore, would Chaos have hired ogre mercenaries? Would the ogres that work for Chaos, would Chaos have allowed it? Like, would the vampires have hired ogre mercenaries? Would they have worked? You know, I don't know. That's a good question. Like, I don't feel like I know enough about the lore to answer it, unfortunately. Would the elves be too uppity to hire ogres? You all sound off if you feel like you know the answer to any of this. Wow, the vampires just keep coming at me. One army after another. I have killed probably almost 10,000 vampires at this point. Wow, my allies took care of Manfred for me. How nice. Then they raised my settlement. But that's okay, at least that means I can get it back. Might be the army balancing. Yeah, I mean, the balancing could be messed up a bit by people hiring ogres. Or, you know, people may just get tired of, for instance, like, wanting to fight. Let's say that you're going to fight the High Elves, for instance, and if you just end up fighting a whole bunch of man-eaters anyway, be like, hey, this isn't even the High Elves, like, I'm just fighting ogres because the AI keeps hiring them, right? So there could definitely be a reason to restrict it, I think. Probably a pretty good reason. I could see it, like, with players getting maybe potentially frustrated with maybe how much it shows up or something. I'm gonna have to settle this, which is gonna kill all my army. Like, so we're gonna be weak for a turn or two.
I do.
At least one turn will be weak, but a whole bunch of vampires just died, so I think we'll be okay. Vampiric corruption is dropping rather rapidly. I need the winery here. And Cherto Grande says, what's the difficulty? Very hard campaign difficulty, normal battle difficulty, legendary chaos invasion. That is the current difficulty settings that I am playing on. My first campaign in Warhammer 3, I'm going to do multiple campaigns at once. Probably the very first one I play, though, will be Kislev, but I will be running multiple campaigns simultaneously in Warhammer 3. So if you all don't like Kislev the most, it's okay. Like, I think I'm gonna probably start off, like, I'll probably start with Kislev. And then I think I'll probably also start up a Tzeentch campaign right after. And then I'll probably start a Cathay campaign. I'll probably run 3 of them all at the same time. Warhammer 3 releases on February 17th, I believe, of next year. We're getting closer. Yeah, I'll be running multiple campaigns. Like, so if Kislev isn't your thing, I'll also probably run Tzeentch and Cathay. And then I'll play all the factions in Warhammer 3. Like, we'll play a campaign with all of them at some point, you know. Kind of like this game, I think I've played a campaign with pretty much everybody, and I intend to do the same. Game 3. Did you confederate with Zufbar, help bolster your war with the Vamps? Possibly, but Zufbar might be worth more to me.
Come, kin. Let us
They don't want to confederate. Some of these factions may be worth more to me as trade partners, honestly.
One. Come, kin. Let us feast and drink. All right.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of these factions are worth more to me as trade partners at the moment.
Let us feast and drink. No way.
Cherto Grande says, looking forward to see when you stream Kislev and Warhammer 3 comes out. Longtime fan since Carthage versus Seleucid Rome 1. That's awesome. Man, that's forever ago. I've been really enjoying the Seleucid campaign right now on Rome 2. It has been one of my favorite video series that I've made in a long time. It is a lot of fun. Rome 2 is still kind of a mess in some ways, but it is just like that time period is so good for me. Oh my gosh. I cannot get any downtime from these guys. And my forces are so beat up. I'm gonna have to really goon with... Oh man, this is a mess. I was thinking to myself, like, surely I'm safe to go ahead and colonize this because we just killed, like, 2 vampire stacks up at Waldenhof or whatever it is. And then my ally killed Manfred right here, and they had another stack right behind it. Holy crap, that's 4 vampire stacks in like the last 2 turns. Ugh. This is gonna be a mess. This is gonna be a mess. I'm gonna have a real problem just keeping the bats and the Vargeist and stuff off of my skirmishers. Like, this is going to be really difficult. We're so heavily depleted that my missile units aren't going to hit with near the same punch they normally do. We're very heavily depleted. Yikes. This is so frustrating because I have beaten and beaten and beaten the vampires. I've killed their legendary lords at least 3 times each. And they just keep coming at you. And it's kind of fun in the sense that, okay, we're going to get a lot of battles, but it also gets kind of annoying sometimes. Because it's like, I want to be rewarded as the player for winning big epic battles, and it doesn't feel like you're getting any reward when you win all these big epic battles and the AI just shows up like the next turn with another stack. Like it didn't do anything. So I'm kind of torn because, like I said, I like the battles and I like playing them, but at the same time, it's like it gets to a certain point where it's like, all right, you know what? Enough. I beat these guys. They're beaten. Great. My reinforcements are broken. You gonna move?
Quarrelers! We stay put! Slayers! Go! Go! Shifting!
My missile units are gonna be so weak just because of lack of numbers. I don't have many Slayers. Looks like they're gonna get spent right now. Let's see here. Hey Justin, thanks for the 2. Says hope all is well with you and the family. Yeah, we're good. Thanks for asking. We're doing very well. Can't complain. Work is good for me. The boys are doing good. They're doing school with Mrs. Air. And everything's going great. Awesome. Seeing them always growing up and getting smarter and learning new things. But yeah, things are very good for me. Feel very fortunate. We are in some serious dookie here, folks. I'm gonna go try and lure some units in, see if I can tank a little bit of damage with my single entities. Try and get into these Cairn Wraiths. This is not good. I don't know if we're gonna find our way out of this one. Crap. Double crap. This is not good. One of the Vargulfs just ignored my flank and came right on through. Now I can't lend any support out there. This is bad. This is very, very bad. For me to have won this, I was going to have to drop the Vampire's leadership in a huge hurry, which is already going to be near impossible because of the lack of units that I have. I'm gonna try, but it ain't looking good. I was hoping these Cairn Wraiths to get Shrek'd because my Runesmiths should have magic damage, but they don't. Weird. Look how long it's taking me to kill this Vargulf. Just, I don't have any numbers. Numbers is usually what kills him so fast. It's taking me forever to kill him, and we just don't have the numbers for this. The numbers game is not in our favor. Alright, we got a Vargulf. I need the Opal Amulet real bad right here. My Runesmith is not made for this type of physical beating. He is getting absolutely Shrek'd right now by Strigoi. I don't know why the balance bar is being so nice to us. We're gonna lose, and we're gonna lose bad. Dang it, I was trying to get a spell off right before we lost the guy. Should have done it sooner. We just got massive damage done there. And I'm managing to kill this Vargulf, so Vargulfs are down. My Lord is gonna be killed, and he is not immortal. Really bad news for me. Hopefully he'll rout. And the same with my Runesmith over here. He's not immortal. We're gonna just straight up lose him. He wasn't super high rank, but my Rune Lord is pretty high rank. think we can win, but we are going to pay for it. We're going to pay dearly. We can kill Strigoi here. We can win. He's running off right now. Bloody coward. Alright, I got my Runesmith back. I'm gonna save that Opal Amulet. We're waiting for the ridiculously long Rune Magic cooldown right now. I'm gonna just keep shooting at Strigoi. If we can kill Strigoi, I'm pretty sure we take this one home. I did manage to save my Quarrelers too. They have really high chevrons, so if we are gonna save anybody here, that's the important ones. It looks like we may save our character. Oh my gosh, yeah, we barely got away with our characters. Wow. Boy, that was close. I didn't think we were gonna win that. I did not think we were gonna win that. Barely survived. So we're gonna have to do some recruiting, which we can do. We have some recruiting available to us local. We have some global. Our lords managed to live after a turn or two of replenishment. We should be able to hold our own again. Wow. We have killed so many. Oh great, here comes the war. Crap. Now the Von Karsteins are going to invade too. Like that we didn't have a big enough vampire problem. We do now. Well, I have enough money for another army. It's going to require another army. I'm going to go ahead and auto-resolve this and help them out. We did it. Somehow we got out of that battle. It was extremely close. But I should have... Yeah, we've got enough replenishment now that we're going to start being more dangerous already. I'm only down 4 units in total. I can get a couple of Slayers locally, and we could really use some Longbeards because of their immune to psychology and just, you know, high defensive nature, and then they'll get more offensive from the upgrades that we've given to this army. Need the Dawi firepower here because my Quarrelers are high enough rank to really benefit from that. So yeah, see, that drives up their damage. So that army should be put back together here shortly. We have got a ton of money, and that's good because we're gonna need it. Here's what we're gonna do. We've already got a big stack from Vlad rolling in. I've got a pretty decent garrison here. That's a lot of Thunderers. If we can put together, let's get a Lord here to help out. Cannot yet get Thorgrim. Why is that? Eight grudges from the Book of Grudges. Yeah, I haven't cleared a bunch of grudges for whatever reason. They changed the way the grudges work. Recruit a Lord. Still like the Rune Lord, but at a low level he's not gonna have a lot of magic. And having a standard Lord that can like actually fight off a low armor vampire might be good here. So I'm gonna go ahead and just take a Lord, and I'll send a Runesmith to help. Just gonna go ahead and start recruiting whatever I can recruit as quick as I can recruit it. Got Castle Templehof, but I can't do much recruiting there at the moment. However, I can build up its defenses, make it more difficult for the vampires to take it from me. I've also got my allies here. Like I said, we got a pretty good garrison. I think we can hold off. Then once we get that third army trained, we should be able to push back against the Von Karsteins as well. Need to get over here and finish beating down Grimgor's faction. This province is mostly under control now, so I'm gonna head back across Badlands. It's gonna take me a while to replenish. But we're gonna go hit Valea's Sorrow and then Black Iron Mine. Alright. Take a look at anything else I can build. Rib Peaks. Let's improve the defenses of Mount Gunbad. We don't want to lose Mount Gunbad. That is a gold mine, literally. So it is not worth losing. We're looking at a rebellion at Castle Tempelhof. Be a vampire rebellion. That's what I need right now. Even more vampires. How'd this game know that's what I needed? It is going to be time for me to go ahead and get off here. I've been on for a little over 2 hours. This has been a lot of fun. I would love to make some more content on this campaign with you all because it's been a fun challenge. Big battles, lots of action, fun units coming up as we recruit more and more into Snek's Dawi Thunder mod. And you can see already that Isabella has arrived at Fort Oberstyre. So we're going to be fighting. We're going to be up to our neck in vampires, pun intended. So it's going to be interesting. You want me to join the war against them? They're just going to come over and attack my capital. So no, like, you go fight them. You're not fighting anybody else right now. I'm not here beating down the world, and you're just sitting there like, hey, why don't you join our war?
What?
Fight your own dang war. Come on, ugly. Get on it.
Summon me if you dare.
Let's see here. So I have access to some units here. I got a Slayer, got Ekron Miner, Dragonback Slayer, got an Ulthar's Raider. Might as well grab the Skolder Guard. So see, I can already get 10 units up in here. And now from the local recruiting, need some decent infantry, and unfortunately they're only going to be coming from the global pool right now because I just don't have the right building here locally. I could just throw in a couple more Slayers because they're not great against like Graveguard, but they'll hold the line, and then we can throw other units in with them. Anyway, I will pick this one up next time. It's been a lot of fun. We've got a lot of vampires to kill. Vladdy Daddy needs some of our loving attention here. Draymar Ironbrow. In fact, I was going to name this guy after Clone Trooper. This is Dawi Trooper Wheeler. This is Dawi Trooper Wheeler, and this is his clones. This is his clone army, so I meant to name that after him earlier. And I think Dementia needs to be in here too for all the support tonight too. So this is gonna be Dementia. I don't remember if I'm spelling it just right. There we go. We're gonna call him the Vampire Slayer. So appreciate all the support tonight. Appreciate everybody who is here. I will see you all. I think tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow I'm gonna be streaming the new Mexico faction in Age of Empires 3. So come check that out. And I'll be back with some more Dawi Thunder action as soon as I get a chance. HeirofCarthage signing out for now. I'll see you all next time.